guys, welcome back to another installment of HairTube. I'm here today with Vivian. Hi Vivian.
Hello.
I only met Vivian today, she's beautiful. We're going to cut her hair. Could you pull it forward for us? It's long, huh?
Yeah.
Vivian said you can cut it up to here, but I think today we're going to work on framing her face and maybe going through some of my tips and tricks about how to achieve shaping it around the face or framing it up without compromising the length, because the geometry can be quite difficult, especially when we make this quite short and we don't want to cut the length off and have it sort of coming back over the shoulder. We want to keep it long in the front and still frame it around the face. So we're going to work on that. I'm going to spin it around, show you the back. I love the fullness, so we're not going to overlay the back. We may just put a little bit of texture in there, and I'll show you a little tip that I do just to it's a section that I use to, I don't want to say layering because it's not layering, but it's a section I use to give the effect of layering and long hair, just so you've got volume here without compromising the length. So I'll go for that as well. We're also going to work on maybe adjusting the tone of her hair, and we're going to use a product called So Silver. It's actually a shampoo that we can use at the basin. It's something that's accessible to everyone who's using matrix out there. It's maybe something you should think about a bit more, because when clients come to the salon and they've had their hair coloured, sometimes they come and have a blow dry or just come for a trim, and it gives you an opportunity to just freshen up the colour and make it a bit brighter. So Silver works on cleaning up blonde hair. So we're going to do that. Excited? Should be fun. So we're going to get Vivian over to the basin. We're going to do that shampoo, and then we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like. Back from the basin, and it's time to start this haircut. So I'm going to start by getting my length right, and then we're going to move on to frame the front of this haircut. We just use traditional sectioning here to get our length right. In the interest of time, we did pre-dry the hair a little bit. Previous videos I've done, we've cut hair dry. For this particular haircut, I'm going to do it wet. Reason being is the length of the hair and how I'm shaping it to the front. It's a little bit too tricky to do it completely dry. But for the same reasons as I cut hair dry, I've pre-dried this a little bit so that it's not sopping wet, and I can identify any naturally occurring elements in the hairline or growth patterns or crowns or anything like that that could actually be an obstacle or could affect the result. That way they're easily identified. Chin down a little bit. Always start with the chin down for a few reasons. First is, I think it avoids graduation, because as soon as you lift the hair away from natural fall, you're graduating the hair. So with a negative forward head position when you start, it reduces the amount of graduation you're putting on the hair. I know we don't walk around life with our chin down like that, but it's important to make sure that the baseline is as sharp as it can be, because it makes haircuts look expensive rather than rushing it. I don't know why that happens. It's when we cut the ends of haircuts that we do, especially long stuff, we often just chip into them or rush the ends. Something I always say, like, the sharper the ends of the hair, the more expensive your haircut looks. I think it is anyway. Don't put too much tension on the hair. You can definitely see, and you'll see better once you dry it off, but I can already see how cleaner and much more bright these highlights are in here after doing that So Silver shampoo. So you can see just coming through here, these ones, how much brighter they are. Really important also that, again, we're always working in rectangles because we want to create a really strong baseline with square ends, not rounded. If you go out here, we end up making it round. That's our length done. So we're done in the back. We're going to part this straight down the middle, and then we're going to spin Vivian around so we can cut the sides / the front. If you could please look into the mirror, that'd be great. Perfect. Just make sure you haven't missed any behind the ear, but at the same time don't stretch it down too tight over the ear because you'll end up creating a hole just here. You can see it gives you a really strong guideline and makes our job really easy when you do it this way. You don't have to worry about dodging the shoulder. Make sure it's absolutely perfect. And now we repeat that on the other side. Same as the other side, we're just letting this comb down gently. Make sure you haven't missed any underneath the ear there. At the same time, don't squash it over the ear. So if you've combed it really tight like this, just make sure you lift it out and you let it fall. It's probably more important for hair that's shorter, but it's a good habit to form to do it regardless of the length. You'd have to be pretty unlucky to squash it there. I know, maybe watch, see if this moves. Not really. But with hair that's like a lob length, this will make a big difference. You want to make sure that it's all combed out. And then I have to remember that on the other side, I actually used the fine end of the comb, so it's important that we do the same amount of tension on both sides of the head. Looks pretty good. The goal for this particular framing of Vivian's face is to be able to cut the hair quite short up here without touching here. So I'm going to show you how I achieve that without having to freehand and slice. You can see that there's some existing stuff here that I'm going to have to sort of juggle around a little bit. So I start with the diagonal back section, and again, just making sure you have enough hair that you can manage, and enough hair to create, sorry, not too much hair that you can't manage it, but enough hair to create a strong guideline for the rest of this section. And just tuck that while we're working on this side. And I want to have it start under the chin and finish here without cutting this off. So there's two ways that, there's two things we need to do. One is we need to over direct it to retain length, and we need to increase it away from solid form or zero. So the further we go away and the more that we over direct it, the more length we can retain. Here goes nothing, eh? Pretty good. As I work through here and we bring more hair in, you'll be able to see this shape a little more clearly. looking good. You can see how tight that angle is, like it's so super tight. We keep working through until we run out of hair. So all the way through to the back, which is why at the beginning of this video I mentioned that I wasn't going to layer the back, because obviously pulling the hair from the back to the front, doing this technique will layer the back to some degree, so we don't want to end up making it too fine. How you going, Vivian? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Requires a lot of patience. Even if you've got to comb this 50 times, if you get it on the 51st time, it was worth doing it the other 50, because you have to make sure that you hit that guideline and you don't miss it. I'd have to say that out of all the techniques I do, this is the hardest cutting technique to teach people, because the only way you learn to do this well is by ruining it many times previous. Because to control all this hair and achieve this angle when it's so acute, it's very difficult, and takes many years of practice, and I ruined lots and lots of doll's heads practicing this. Better than ruining real people's hair, hey Vivian?
Yeah, that's right.
Doll's heads don't complain. Well, at least I don't think they do. So now standing to the side of Vivian, I'm just looking down, and I just want to just to clean it up just a little bit. We can obviously do much more of this when the hair's been dried, but what it allows you to do is actually make sure that the shape is right. And all the videos I've done, you would have heard me say that I want to get it 90% of the way there, and then once it's dry, we'll finish it and do that last little 10% of the detail work. Close your eyes, Vivian, please. On to the next side. So I'm taking a guideline from Vivian's left-hand side as my guide, and again, we need to over-direct this, projecting it. Making sure that we retain all the length, because otherwise we have an uncomfortable conversation to have at the end. Sorry I cut your corners off. They'll grow back in 10 weeks, I promise. Didn't even know what that was. I first started going to the US doing hair. All my clients used to say to me, don't cut my corners off, and now I realise what that is. The obstacle we face with this haircut when the hair's parted to one side is we actually have to change the angle intentionally on which we cut what I would call the closed or the narrow side of the parting, so that we intentionally leave one side longer or shorter so that they match. And this is what I'm doing on Vivian now. So I actually have to do this side differently. I've got to leave it longer so that it actually matches this side, because here we've only got this much hair, and then here we've got that much. So, you know, it's probably only 2 centimeters, but you'd be surprised how much difference it makes. It's even harder when we part the hair deeper on the side. You guys see the guideline in there? Cross check this, actually spin it back this way. Just like chin towards me, just hit the center of your head. Yep, perfect, thank you. It's really important that you keep the hair spread evenly over the plane of the comb. You don't want to bunch it all in. More section and we should run out of hair. Then we're going to blow dry it, cross check. We're going to do some really cool styling today. See how curly we can make it. What do you reckon, Vivian?
Sounds good. Hit this way a little bit. Thank you. Gotcha. I was chasing this bit. I finally got it. I've said it about 10 times already, but patience is so important when you do this. You get frustrated. It's like, oh, I missed it, I can't be bothered. The result of doing it this way is far worth the frustration of achieving it, because it just looks amazing once you're done. It just falls super natural, looks great. All right, now we're going to dry it off. So we've flat brushed the hair, and now we're going to cross check before we start to style. Just really cleaning out or sort of sharpening up, I guess, is probably another really good way of saying. Just chin this way for me, darling. Just, yeah, just keep your head centered. Perfect, thank you. I know I'm being quite firm, to say the least, because I've got to try and hold on to this all at once. So, sorry about that. Brilliant. I'm going to the other side. And we'll just cross-check this. We'll be ready for some styling. I think it's pretty good. So shiny and silky. Colour definitely looks less brassy and definitely brighter. That is for sure. Get a bit ahead of myself there. Last but not least, bring it all out and we check it all. It's great. Get you put your head this way for me, spin you around so everyone can see. Made a little adjustment to the angle. You have to keep adjusting it until it's absolutely perfect. It's getting knotty because of constantly combing it in different directions, so you need to be careful. You don't want to just really hard and then it could be a little bit uncomfortable. Just pop your head forward for me and just slowly up. That's good. Spin you around. Let's have a look. It's nice, really nice. So I guess you can see we've framed up around the face quite nicely, but we've been able to maintain all the length but what needed to come off. I think it feels quite sort of wash and wear, seamless in nature. I can't really see from there. Yeah, it's good, really good. So we just spoke at the beginning of the video about something clever in the top here to diffuse the underneath and to also give the illusion of this being layered without actually layering the hair. So I'm going to just put my scissors away while I section this up and I'll show you how I do it. So I'm going to spin Viv around. Do you get called Viv all the time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm calling you Viv from now on. So I'm just going to go about 2 centimeters back from Viv's hairline in the front, and then I'm going to angle that slightly more back. So now I'll show that to you. You can see there. We're going to come up into the occipital bone in the back, and we're going to take that down the middle. So that's our first section. Clip that out of the way. This side we're going to do the same. Go down into here, centimetre or two back. So to make sure you keep lots in the hairline. And we're going to join this up with our other section. Spin Viv round so you can see from the back. Take that out. I'll try and comb it all up at once. Then we're going to zigzag over the top of this. You've seen me do that in previous videos. These ones are going to be actually really deep. See those? Spin it around, and then we're just going to zigzag in the front area. That's pretty good actually. All right, so now that we've done that, this is going to be the section that we cut. I'm just going to lop it off like here. No, I'm joking. I get you put your chin down for me, like look down towards your toes. Thank you. If it falls out, don't stress because I'm not doing it that short. We're actually going towards the ends here. Going to bring this right to the front. Really over directed a lot. Take that off. And then we're going to soften it with some texture. Head up, babe. I'll show you what this does in the back. So at first glance it's like, well, there's nothing there, right? Because that's the idea. It's not meant to look intrusive but now if I just let that part naturally, we'll just pull that back. Actually, you know what? Why don't you run your hands through it for me? Just push it back like you normally would. Yep, perfect. Bring it around your face. Nice. We're going to style this, we're going to put some shape in that, but now what we've got in the back is the ability to actually have volume without having to worry about. So you can see that from the side. You get that beautiful volume in there if you want it. And when we're at flat, I think it's fair to say that it essentially looks like it's all one length still. So that's my little solution to when you have long hair and your client says it's heavy, I don't get any volume at the top. That's how I deal with well, that's my solution to that problem. It's because now we've actually got short hair, and you will see it if we pull it up and remove it. But if she wants to wear it straight, it just blends all back in. Okay. So this is a very basic but effective, and I guess commercially effective. So something you can do very quickly on your clients in the salon, just using a flat iron and just creating some movement into the ends of the hair. You can see that there's still a fair bit of moisture in the hair, which I think is a good thing. I'm not a big fan of blow drying the hair straight and then using these, because I mean, you can imagine the damage you can cause on the hair when there's no moisture left. So you've completely dried the hair using a blow dryer and a brush, and then you go and put a hot styling tool through it. That's not great. So I think it's important to leave moisture in the hair, which is why I love to flat brush the hair, air dry it effectively, and then when you're using a hot tool, there is some moisture left in the hair, so we're not completely dehydrating it. So I'm just going to keep going through vertical sections until I get to the top. I said before, this is a really beautiful but simple and easy styling option to do in salon, and I say it all the time, we forget about the dressing in hairdressing. Like, it's really important that we finish everything as best we can, and it's something that we also often rush, and I'm guilty of it at times too. We get busy, and you don't really put enough or as much effort as what you probably could have into actually the dressing of the hair or the styling at the end. So something maybe to keep in mind. Your clients might be feeling like, you do an amazing cut, amazing color, and then the styling at the end's an afterthought. And I know it's like we're in the era of wash and wear and undone hair, but I do also believe that clients want to look and feel like they have just been at the salon. So it's okay for them friends to say to them, hey, did you just go to the salon today? Because their hair is looking really amazing and styled really well. Because they can wear it relaxed every other day, because it's very hard for them to dress it the way we do. So it's almost like it's a treat for them. So don't rush, take your time and style it. And I know that money is time, time is money, but as I said, this is a very cost and time effective way just to finish the hair a little bit better than just a blow dry. So all the sectioning underneath I've done onto the face, and then the last section at the top I do off the face, because you do want some of this hair coming on, especially at this length, to frame the face, the neck and the body. So I don't want it all turning away from the face. And because I'm right-handed, I can't stand on that side, I actually have to stand behind. But what I do is I put in my fingers, I'm like, yeah, I want it to turn out near the cheeks. Then I hold it there, flat iron goes in, and I turn just before my fingers. And then generally, if you've done that properly, that'll just turn right where you want it to emphasize or frame a face. I got an email last week, someone asking me if they can, because I talk about leaving moisture in hair when I use a flat iron. No, you cannot use it in wet hair. You will boil the hair at a sizzle, it's no good for it. There's a difference between wet and leaving moisture in the hair. This is absolutely not wet. If you touch it, it's dry. I don't think it's a good idea using an electrical appliance in wet hair. It's very bad. So I'm sorry if I gave you that impression, because that's not what I meant. I never put a flat iron near the root either, because we actually want to make sure that we don't affect how much volume that's in the root. And if we go and put this in here and then turn it, you're going to flatten the root out. The higher the hair, the closer to God, they say. Or the bigger the hair, the closer to God. That's our styling done. I do this all the time, is I like my clients to brush their own hair out. You happy to do that with me?
Yeah.
So first we're going to use a wide tooth comb. So I want you guys to see the difference between combing out when we wave it and then versus brushing it. So we're going to do both. So I'll give it to you, Viv. So there's no right or wrong way. You can't break it, you're not going to ruin it. Be gentle, like don't go through it too hard. Just comb it off your face, and when you feel like all of it's been combed out and it's not set anymore, you can run your hands through it. I'm just going to sit here and watch what you do. Spin you around so we can see what's going on in the back. Don't be scared to get your hands in there. Loosen it up a little bit with your hands. Hands are the best and the most unutilized tool that we have. So look. Doesn't look very good, huh? Look amazing. You like it?
Yes, I love it.
So what we're going to do now, so that keeps more of a definition in there. But for me, it's a little bit too, I'm going to my year 10 formal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing wrong with it. It has a place, but I want you to be like, I'm brushing my hair to get the knots out. So I want you to be quite heavy-handed with it, okay? And again, you can't break it. So what I want you to do is actually comb straight through the middle part first, and you can't use the mirror. So I want to see the difference. And then I'm going to grab this amazing product called Smooth Setter. Nobody uses this to finish off hair. This is the best finishing serum I've used. It's beautiful and light, and all you need to do is have about this much on it. How's that looking? Yeah, bring it forward for me. Heaps good. Just enough to wet my hands, and always on underneath, through the top. And what this does is it just brings together some of the flyaway that's caused by the brush. And then when we get the brush, I actually have it on my hand, and I follow the brush through after I put in the smooth setter, and that just gives us that little bit more of a polished look. I'm going to spin you this way so I can see. Beautiful. Which one do you prefer?
I like
This is like a little bit more formal. Smooth set is good. Spin you around the back so everyone can see the back. How beautiful does the color look just from one? It was just one shampoo with So Silver. So you can imagine what could actually be like the transformation that could take place if you were to recommend that at home to your client, and she were to use it maybe twice a week. Then have a look how bright it is, and then, you know, shampooing regular shampoo, and then she's like, oh, it's brassy again, I'm going to do a bit more. That was just one. And if you go back to the beginning of the video and have a look at this, it's absolutely, especially here where the hair's lighter, it's actually far more brighter. It pops. Super cute. I've used Height Riser a fair bit and I love it, and I'm going to use it again, but I'm going to use something else instead just in the end. So we'll just drop some Height Riser in around the crown. Just get your fingers up in there, darling, just give it a shake, just in your root here. So if you want something to look a little bit more airy, the texture builder is really good, and we can just spray that in the ends, and we can really make this look soft and loose. And this is where I think hair's trending at the moment. I think it actually looks a little bit undone, but you still need a beautiful styling foundation to start with. You can't just rely on product. So we've built, just like when you're building the shape in a haircut, when you're building the shape, when you're styling, you need to start with the foundation, and then you undo the style slowly. You can't just start undoing it without any foundation in there to begin. So yeah, this is really great through the ends, just to Gives you a little bit more flexibility than hairspray. Looks great, babe. Look amazing. What do you think?
I love it. Thank you.
Look amazing.
Looks beautiful.
I really love it too. I think, you know, even though you trusted me to cut it a fair bit shorter, I think the most important thing was to open your face up, because when Viv came in this morning, I think her long hair just sort of closed her in, so we just framed around the face using the technique I do. It's opened it up. We've done a really simple, easy to use styling technique using a flat iron, given it a bit of height with the height riser, softened it in the ends with texture builder, and so silver shampoo to brighten it up. So just like, it's what my clients asked me to do. I said to Viv before, when I'm in LA, this is basically what I do the majority of the time, this exact haircut, whether it be a little bit shorter or, but it's all about framing the face, making the length of the hair complement the person rather than just hiding the whole body behind it, which I think sometimes as hairdressers we just think about here to here. You have to think on what's going on here too, because if someone's got hair that's like a triangle shape and it's covering their body, it's not really flattering. Like, you really need to make sure that it sits there really gently and complements them. Thanks for trusting me.
No worries.
I'll spin you around. I'll spin you around and have a look at the back. Yeah, it's super cute. I know maybe you'll let me do it again. Maybe next time we could do it a bit shorter. Maybe we should do it shorter now.
I like how it is.
I did too, I'm just messing with you. I think it's also worth mentioning that, you know, even if we did do it to here, it would work. So this actually can be used on a wide range of lengths, I think from the collarbone and longer. So try it out. DM me if you like it. If you don't, tell Viv, don't tell me. Do you have Instagram?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to shout it out so people can go and follow you? Because no one follows me on Instagram.
Yeah, sure.
No
so
one.
Vivian_Barclay. That's Vivienne.
Best. And please, could you follow me on Instagram? No one follows me on Instagram. What are you guys doing?
Come on, follow me.
If you like what we did today, please make sure you share this video with someone you think might also enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications when we upload a new video. But until next time, from me, it's bye.